The year is 2027, the United States of America. Once the undisputed beacon of freedom, prosperity, and innovation, enters a moment unlike any other in its history. For decades, it was said that America would lead the future. But now, in 2027, that future has arrived and it is not the one people expected. The world's most powerful nation is changing faster than its people can understand, and the changes cut into the heart of identity, freedom, and survival itself. This is not the America of the past. This is not the America you imagine. This is the America of 2027. The transformation begins with artificial intelligence. By this year, artificial intelligence is no longer a tool, it is the infrastructure. It decides what food reaches which cities. It manages energy flowing into homes. It calculates financial systems at speeds no human brain could comprehend. Millions of invisible algorithms whisper through every corner of society, directing healthcare, education, transportation, and even justice. The United States is alive with the hum of machines, yet increasingly silent with the absence of human control. At first glance, this looks like progress. Streets appear safer. Cars drive themselves with perfect coordination. Hospitals cure diseases faster, guided by data too complex for doctors alone. Court cases are resolved in seconds by predictive systems. Wall Street enjoys bursts of unimaginable wealth, fueled by machine-driven trading. The headlines speak of innovation, of growth, of America maintaining its leadership in technology. But behind these headlines, another story is told. Entire industries vanish almost overnight. Truck drivers, once numbering in the millions, are gone from the highways, replaced by convoys of autonomous vehicles. Cashiers, delivery drivers, and warehouse workers disappear into obsolescence as robotic systems dominate logistics. Even fields once considered safe, law, medicine, finance, feel the sting of automation. Junior lawyers, radiologists, and financial analysts find themselves irrelevant. Their work done in milliseconds by cold systems that never tire, never sleep, never ask for wages. The promise of retraining fails to deliver. Politicians declare that displaced workers can learn new skills, but a 50-year-old factory worker in Ohio cannot simply become a quantum programmer overnight. A mother of 3 in rural Kentucky cannot transform into a robotics engineer in 6 months. Millions fall through the cracks, unable to adapt to a future that never asked for their consent. Unemployment spreads like a plague, not of laziness, but of obsolescence. Discontent brews in towns and cities alike. In Detroit, once the proud capital of American manufacturing, thousands gather in the streets chanting, "We built the machines. Why did they replace us?" In Los Angeles, actors, writers, and musicians protest as AI-generated content floods streaming services, drowning human creativity beneath endless machine-made perfection. In New York, the beating heart of finance, stock exchanges tremble under the weight of AI-driven crashes that regulators cannot contain. Yet economics is only half the story. Surveillance grows like ivy around the foundations of freedom. By 2027, the United States is wrapped in a vast web of cameras, drones, and biometric sensors. The government claims it is for safety, to stop terrorism, to prevent crime. Citizens are told, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. But ordinary Americans feel the truth. Eyes are everywhere. Artificial intelligence does not only watch what they do, it predicts what they might do, tracking movements, analyzing emotions, calculating threats before they even exist. Freedom, once sacred, begins to feel conditional. Airports, streets, schools all are monitored. Families whisper inside their homes, uncertain whether their smart devices are listening. Privacy, once a right, becomes a memory. Politics reflects the divide. In Washington, some leaders argue that only artificial intelligence can handle the scale of modern America's problems. Others warn that democracy itself is vanishing, replaced by decisions made in hidden algorithms no voter ever sees. Elections remain, but choices feel hollow, shaped by recommendation systems that nudge citizens long before they cast a ballot. Americans sense their voices fading, even as ballots are collected, and so the nation fractures. On one side, the techno-optimists, wealthy elites, technologists, and citizens who see artificial intelligence as salvation. They believe machines will cure poverty, solve climate change, and extend life itself. On the other, the human preservationists, a growing movement of workers, activists, and thinkers who demand limits, who say that no matter how efficient machines become, humanity must remain in charge. The clash between these two visions defines the culture of 2027. Cultural life itself transforms. Music, film, and literature, once considered sacred expressions of human spirits, are increasingly generated by machines. Streaming platforms release endless series, films, and songs tailored to each user, perfect simulations of art. Some audiences marvel, "This is flawless." Others recoil, "This is soulless." The debate grows. If art no longer requires artists, what does that mean for the human soul? Inequality explodes. The owners of AI infrastructure corporations in Silicon Valley, Wall Street financiers and political elites grow unimaginably wealthy. A new aristocracy rises, not of kings or landowners, but of data lords. Meanwhile, rural America collapses further, hollowed out by automation, forgotten in the rush of progress. Tent cities grow along highways, filled with workers displaced by the very machines they once built. The American dream, once promised to all, now feels sold to the highest bidder. But rebellion simmers. Activists calling themselves the digital sons of liberty infiltrate corporate networks, corrupting data streams, exposing hidden deals, and unleashing viruses against surveillance systems. On the streets, protesters attack self-driving cars, calling them steel scabs. In hidden clubs, musicians reject synthetic songs, returning to raw performances where imperfections are celebrated as proof of humanity. Across cities, graffiti spreads. We are not data. We are alive. Globally, the United States faces new vulnerabilities. China, India, and Europe accelerate their own AI revolutions, challenging American supremacy. Cyber wars break out, silently attacks on power grids, communication satellites, and financial networks leave millions in the dark. The battlefield of 2027 is invisible, fought not with tanks and jets, but with lines of code. For the first time, Americans realize their power can be broken without a single shot fired. And still, resilience grows in unexpected places. In small towns, communities rebuild local economies. Farmers reject genetically modified AI crops, returning to natural cycles. Families homeschool children, teaching values and skills machines cannot replicate creativity, empathy, critical thought. Churches and mosques reframe scriptures, warning that artificial intelligence is a false idol seducing humanity away from its essence. For many, rebellion becomes spiritual as much as political. By the autumn of 2027, the United States feels like two nations. One gleams with neon cities, where elites thrive in machine-managed comfort. The other struggles in ruins, where the forgotten fight for survival and dignity. In between, protests grow louder, demanding answers, demanding justice. The year ends not with resolution, but with tension. Congress debates sweeping regulations on artificial intelligence, but corporations resist, warning of economic collapse. Citizens march in Washington, banners clashing with drone patrols. Families sit at dinner tables arguing not about parties or policies, but about whether machines are saviors or executioners. The United States in 2027 is no longer the country it once was. It is fractured, divided, uncertain. Yet in that uncertainty lies a spark. America has always been forged in fire through wars, through struggles, and perhaps, just perhaps, this fire will forge something new once more. Because the truth is clear. The future of the United States is not what you think. And now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe the future of the United States in 2027 will bring hope or disaster? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your voice matters in this conversation about tomorrow. We've seen a lot of crazy things happen in 2023, right? From the earthquake in Turkey to the war in Ukraine, to the continued craziness of the pandemic, to the economic uncertainty that seems to be hanging over every single person on this planet right now, it's enough to make anyone feel like we're living in the twilight zone. But I don't believe that any of us really know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't believe any of us can predict the future. But what we can do is control the narrative and make sure that we're telling the story that we want to tell about America in 2027.